to Charles County Now. I'm Jennifer Harris, Chief of Media, filling in for Natasha Anthony today. Have you ever wondered why certain communities around the world boast a remarkable number of centenarians? People living vibrant lives well into their 100s? These unique regions, known as blue zones, have been the subject of extensive research into the secrets of longevity. From the serene islands of Okinawa, Japan, to the sun-kissed shores of Sardinia, Italy, these areas share common lifestyle traits that contribute to their residents' exceptional lifespans. Now, in an exciting development, Charles County is embarking on its own journey to become a blue zone, aiming to enhance the well-being and longevity of its own residents. Today, we are thrilled to delve into what this means for our community and how we can all benefit from these insights. I'm very pleased to be joined by Dr. Dianna Abney, our Public Health Officer for Charles County. Welcome, Dr. Abney. It's good to see you today.
Thank you, Jen. It's good to see you also.
Dr. Abney, we were talking right before the show began about how my sister has lived in Okinawa for several years. This is one of the key blue zones around the world. Can you tell us how this concept originated there and who discovered it?
So it was discovered by Dan Buettner. He's an explorer with National Geographic. He went there in 2004 to see what was causing this longevity. After that, he did some expeditions around other places to see if there were other places like Okinawa where people had longevity. And he found other places around the world. Places like Sardinia, Italy, or like Nicoya, Costa Rica, and also like Loma Linda in the United States. These are places where people have longevity and live happy lives.
This sounds like a place where I would like to live. Many of those places are places that we would probably both enjoy living. Can you tell us why? What are some common lifestyle habits that have been observed in these blue zones that would contribute to this sense of longevity and well-being? I mean, we don't want to just live into our 90s and 100s just to get there, right? We want to live full, productive lives. So what did he observe in these communities?
So the things that he observed, he called the Power 9. So there are 9 things. The people move naturally. So they don't go to the gym, they don't run marathons, they don't lift weights all the time. They move naturally. They walk, they play games, they do things that are natural movements, and they stay busy, they stay moving, so that they live in their environment. They just do things that keep them active and keep them healthy. They do yard work. They visit with their friends. And they have a purpose in life. That's number 2. They have something that they're living for, something that they're working toward all the time. And just that one thing increases your lifespan up to approximately 7 years, just having a purpose in life. And then they downshift. So they don't let stress get to them. Stress leads to chronic inflammation. And that inflammation takes a toll on our lives. So they downshift. They don't let the stress get to them. Like Okinawans take a walk. They take walks almost every day. And then they remember their ancestors. Having a connection to their ancestors and their family helps. In Sardinia, they take naps.
I love naps.
I'm sorry, I got that one backwards. In Sardinia, they have happy hour.
Oh, I love happy hour too. Happy hour and naps, I can live by that.
And happy hour doesn't have to be an alcoholic beverage. They get together with their friends in the evening and have a time together.
Sounds like there's more leisure built into their lives. There's more sense of community and connection. Is that something that he also observed?
Yes. And in fact, connection is one of the other things that we want to talk about. There's something called hara-hachi-bu.
Hara-hachi-bu? Is that how you said it?
Okay.
Tell us what that means.
In Okinawa, the people say a mantra that was 2,500 years old from Confucius. And it says, to stop eating when you're 80% full. So when you're 80% full, if you stop eating, you have this other 20%. And they believe, and it's probably true, that that keeps you from overeating, so that you're not overeating. And think about what we do now. Many people do intermittent fasting. What they do in Okinawa is they stop eating at a certain time in the evening, and then they don't eat again until morning. If you think about that, that sounds a little bit like what people are doing now, which is intermittent fasting.
That sense of rest and digest and gives us time
Yes.
in between our meals to process what we're doing instead of rushing through lunch, rushing through dinner, or eating late or stopping through that fast food restaurant right before going to bed because
Exactly.
you got home late from work or we're running the kids around. It's a different lifestyle altogether is what you're saying.
And it's good that you mentioned stopping at that fast food restaurant because they also have, number 5 in the Power 9 is something called Plant Slant. And very few fast food places serve a lot of plants. So a lot of the places that are in the 5 blue zones have a plant slant to their diet. So there's more beans for the protein, like fava beans, black beans, chickpeas, soy, and lentils. Those are the cornerstones of most of the diets of the centenarians. They do eat meat. They usually eat less meat, and they don't eat it every day. They usually eat meat about 5 times a month. And in fact, interestingly, it's often pork. And as I said, it's only eaten about 4 to 5 times a month. They have small servings, 3 to 4 ounces, which is the size of about a deck of cards. And if you're thinking about what people tell us is a healthy slice of meat, what the USDA says, your meat should be the size of a stack of cards, a deck of cards. So it's some of the things that we're already telling our people in America to do, and it's just validating that these things work.
It's the opposite of fast food, really. It's slowing down. I cook a lot of beans in my house, but it takes time to do that well and to do it right. Same thing with your meats. You smaller portions, cook it well, enjoy it, savor it. But in order to do that, we have to slow down our lifestyle. That's probably a key part of this that threads it all together.
It probably is also. And then there's wine at 5. And you say, wine at 5? So in all the blue zones, except Loma Linda, where they're Adventists and they don't drink, the people drink moderately and regularly. Key words, moderately. So basically, many of them have 1 or 2 drinks every evening, but they're not drinking a 6-pack. They're drinking a small amount, usually with friends or family, that connection piece that we talked about a little bit earlier. And that's one of the things that they just enjoy through their life. And just in case people are thinking about it, you can't just save up your 1 to 2 drinks a day and drink them all over the weekend,
Right.
like as in 7 to 14 drinks on one day. That doesn't work. That doesn't count. It's doing things in moderation and doing things on a regular basis. So now we're number 7, and that's about belong. All but 5 of the centenarians, of the 263 centenarians, belong to some faith-based community.
Interesting.
Doesn't matter what the faith is, but it's something that gives you something to live by. Denomination doesn't matter, but research shows that attending faith-based services 4 times a month will add 4 to 14 years to your lifespan.
Really? Do they know why? Is it because of that sense of community and the belonging and sense of community tie in together?
Yes.
What it sounds like.
I think that's part of it. And also, the successful centenarians in the blue zone put their families first. Again, that connection. They keep their parents and their grandparents nearby in their home. And that lowers the mortality because they're there with them. They commit to a life partner, which just that one thing can add 3 years to your life. Just committing to someone for life. And they invest in their children. They invest a lot of time and a lot of love in their children. So they're connected. And if you invest time in your children and show them that you love them, they're more likely to be around and care for you when you're older. So that's so that circle, they keep the families together for a long time.
Well, I know children are near and dear to your heart. You were a pediatrician for many years, still are practicing. So
Yes.
Children is a very important component
It is.
that threads us all together.
And it makes me happy when I see them come in with their grandparents, because that's that connection of the family there. That's that tribe. And number 9 is the right tribe. The world's longest lived people choose or are born into circles that support healthy behaviors, like a family or like the people you choose to be with, your tribe, your group of people that you stick with. In Okinawa, they have, I'm not going to say it right, moyas, which are groups of 5 friends that are committed to taking care of each other and being with each other for a long time.
I love that.
It's kind of like having a good group of girlfriends.
Yes.
That you learn and meet in college and you hang out forever.
Yes, your ride or die group.
Exactly. And guys have ride or die groups
yes.
also. But basically, they're people you can count on, people who you can trust, your tribe.
Yep, the 2 a.m. phone call. You've got to have somebody on the other end of that line. That's your group.
So let's bring that to some science. The Framingham studies showed that people do things that are contagious. Smoking, obesity, those kind of things. If you're around smokers, you smoke. If you're around people who are happy, you're happy. So if you're around people who are living healthy and eating healthy, it seems that those things would be the same.
Now you referenced the Framingham study. Is that the study of longevity that's out of Harvard? Is that the right
Out of
study?
Framingham, Massachusetts, yes.
Yes.
It's quoted often.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you for clarifying that.
So basically, it showed that long-lived people have healthy behaviors.
And they're surrounded by others who do, that encourage them. Fascinating. So we've covered the 9 key factors for lifestyle in these blue zones.
Yes.
Now let's bring this back to Charles County. So you, as the public health officer, wanted to bring this framework here, and you're calling it the Blue Zones Ignite program. So let's talk a little bit more about this initiative and what you're hoping to help us achieve as a community.
Okay, so the first thing is that's what Blue Zones call their first phase of working with a community.
Okay.
It's the Blue Zones Ignite. It's a preliminary engagement with the community. It's an assessment of the community to see what their gaps are. They have focus groups, they have one-on-one groups, they have presentations and events, and a well-being analysis. They also look for sponsors and identify the values and impacts that return on investments will show, so that the sponsors will see that there's a reason to join us in this Blue Zone transformation. Sorry about that.
That's okay. So this is kind of the onboarding in phase 1 of bringing people together and talking about where the gaps are and how we can maybe identify strategies to fill them in.
Exactly.
Okay.
And getting people interested in it. I think people in Charles County are interested in living healthy lifestyles, and I think this is something that is going to help us make that move to a healthier community.
Well, and it sounds like it'll be a whole shift in our community as a whole in terms of the values, right? These 9 factors, they're really value-based, purpose-driven, sense of belonging, faith, family, connections with your children. All those things are a reframing of how we currently live.
I think you're exactly right. And they're reframing of how we choose to live and how we aspire to live, even those of us who don't think we're quite making it there.
Yeah, well, nobody's perfect, so
No.
we'll start there.
Yeah.
How will this assessment be conducted in Charles County? So I'm, living here. This is the first time hearing about this initiative. We are planning, I think, to announce it very soon. Are you planning to announce it with your partners soon? What aspects of community health will it focus on, and how can I get engaged?
So it focuses on people, places, and policies. And with our partner, the University of Maryland Charles Regional Medical Center.
That's our hospital.
That's our hospital,
Everybody
yes.
needs to know that, yes.
So we're going to do planning, community engagement, and then the Blue Zones Ignite. So we're going to launch a digital presence, document and audit the policies. We're going to launch a PR engagement community, and then we're going to tell the stakeholders how we are going to do this. We're going to give them a run of the show. As far as community engagement, we're going to have some community-wide events, some expert summits. We're going to do some photography, and we're going to have a media blitz. That's where you come in.
Oh, great. Well, I'm glad to be your partner. I'm one of your stakeholders.
Yes, indeed. And then the goals of the Blue Zone Ignite are to engage, educate, and mobilize the community so that we could go on this journey together to make Charles County a blue zone and a healthier place to live, work, and enjoy yourself.
I think everybody can get behind that goal.
I hope so.
Yes, absolutely. Well, for our viewers who are interested in enhancing their own well-being, I consider myself one of them, what are some practical steps or changes they can adopt that are inspired by these principles? I think we've talked about them in detail already, but if you were to kind of take a peek inside somebody's home, where could you start?
So you could start at looking at your plate and seeing if you have a plate that has colors on it. Not everything is beige colored. So a colorful diet. So, have some green things, some orange things, carrots and whatever green vegetable you like. Have a smaller slice of meat on your plate. Get out and walk as a family. I remember when my children were younger, we would take a walk almost every day, the four of us, around our neighborhood, which is about a half mile. At first, the children couldn't make it, so we'd walk a little ways or we'd take the strollers, but it became something that we did. In fact, when I ran a marathon, yes, the little old lady ran a marathon. No world class times, but when it was night and I needed to run, they'd follow me in the van to make sure. And that's that sticking with your family, doing things together, those kind of things. If there's something your child is doing or that your spouse is doing, show them how much you care and join them. That togetherness.
That's such a key component of this whole campaign. I've heard it throughout what you've talked about today. So looking ahead, what are the anticipated benefits as this project progresses? You were just launching in phase 1 now. If you could look into a crystal ball and tell us what this looks like 5-10 years down the road, what would you say would be a measure of success?
Oh, what would be a measure of success 5 or 10 years from now? A healthier community with less heart disease and high blood pressure. A community that has a lot of family or community gardens where people are eating fresh food. A community that takes in more fresh vegetables and produce that's grown here in Charles County, either by the people themselves or by the farmers in our community. People who still eat meat, if they choose to, but eat it in a more healthy way. Lean cuts, preferably not fried. Fresh meat, which could help our farmers also. People who just enjoy themselves in life. People who get together, families who get together, or friends who get together and who work together to make themselves and their community healthy.
I have nothing more to add to that. I think that's a beautiful vision, and I invite everybody who's listening and watching today to join us together. More connected, more engaged. These are all things that I'm behind too as the Chief of Media. We're looking to make Charles County a more connected, more healthy, more engaged community, and we can do that by supporting one another. Well, Dr. Abney, it was wonderful to have you here today. I always enjoy seeing you and catching up with you. For anyone wanting more information, where can they go to get plugged in and become a stakeholder in this project?
So we're going to start having things happening, so look out for that. And I don't think the website is up yet, but you should see our website about Blue Zone soon.
Okay, so charlescountyhealth.org, or it'll be connected to an external platform?
It'll be its own platform, and we'll announce how you find it.
Okay, when we will make sure that Charles County government shares that information with all of you at charlescountymd.gov at the appropriate time.
And they can find it through the health department or through the hospital.
Oh, great. Well,
yes.
Go any one of those places. We'll be sure to have information there where you can get plugged in. That's all we have for today's episode. For Charles County Now, I'm Jennifer Harris, Chief of Media, standing in for Natasha Anthony today. Thank you for joining us.